May 23rd, 2022, 6 p.m. We'll do the Pledge of Allegiance with Gary Frago in the building. Would you like to do the Pledge of Allegiance for us tonight, Gary? Sure. And then we have an invocation by retired Master Sergeant of the United States Air Force, John Davis, in association with Memorial Day coming up. So that'll be awesome. We'll have that from our wonderful guest there. So please remain standing for the invocation.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, I'm just so humbled, Father, by the opportunity that I have to come before your presence. And yet, I'm proud, Father, to stand here amongst these leaders of our little town of Atwater. God, I'm so humbled by the fact that our country's so free. And God, we're allowed to discuss things, challenges that are confronting our little town. And God, we know there are many times, Lord, when money is talked about, Lord, it brings out the worst in people. But tonight, I pray that you give these men and women wisdom and compassion as they listen and discuss the future of our little town. May your hand be upon each and every one of them, and even those that are present. We ask for your blessing in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Officer Goodwin, can you close the back door? After they come in. Roll call.
Ambrose?
Here.
Button?
Here.
Kale?
Here.
Raymond?
Here.
Creighton?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Order out of closed session.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. City considered 2 items in closed session, one matter involving real property negotiations for the properties described as described in the agenda. The council received information and provided direction and took no reportable action. The council also considered the matter of labor negotiations with the various bargaining units and the groups outlined in the agenda. The council received information and provided direction and took no reportable action.
Thank you. Approval agenda as amended or posted.
Motion to approve the agenda as posted.
I'll second.
Motion by Raymond, second by Kale.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Ceremonial matters. Certificate of recognition, police officer and dispatcher of the year. We have Officer Goodwin and dispatcher, I'll make sure I say her name right. That's always the last one. Marcelina Zimmerman, right? Is she here?
Mr. Mayor, we're here.
Oh, she's back in the corner. You're hiding.
Oh, hiding.
Okay, so council, if you don't mind joining me down there, and can you guys both come up? Marcelina and Officer Goodwin. Council, let's go down.
Okay. Council, members of the community, I'd like to introduce our dispatcher and police officers of the year. They were nominated by their peers and their supervisors as being outstanding employees for the police department. Marcelina has been a dispatcher with us just a little bit longer than I've been the chief here, probably almost 4 years. Dave, of course, we watched him get sworn in last year. So they've really done a great work. Marcelina was kind of our workhorse and dispatch during COVID. If we had a vacancy, she just showed up. I can't even tell you how many hours she worked over the last 18 months. Dave, he's also Johnny on the spot. We need something, Dave's there. He doesn't like all the fanfare, but it's well deserved. I've got Besides the certificates, Mr. Mayor, I've got a couple of presentations also to both employees.
Let me grab the mic real quick, and then we're gonna go through
Yep.
the council thing, and then I want you to do that. Then I want you to do that special from the department. So we'll hold on that for just 1 second, Chief. I also wanted to echo what Chief Salvador said about both these individuals. You guys scoot together there so they can see you on the camera there. Scoot over there. You know, we struggle sometimes at being good at what we do, and we always strive to be better. And these two people right here are a example of excellence without being prodded to do it. They just show up and they're that way. They're great. They don't have to be, but you guys are every day. And you guys chose us to work here. You know, so we're blessed to have both of you guys. And the level of professionalism you guys do every day, especially dispatch, because, you know, over the years, it's not an easy job. And with the way society is sometimes, you get the brunt of it when they call in and they're not very happy and they're scared and they want our law enforcement to be there to protect them. And you're doing a great job, and you're a role model for the other dispatchers, the way you handle things and the way you keep people calm and the way you present Atwater in a positive light. I know that things aren't always perfect, and you could probably talk anybody out of anything because you're just so sweet and kind and loving with all the community when you talk to them. And that's important. When you call in, you don't want to get harassed. You already know you got a problem. Help me solve the problem. To me, it's a big deal, but, you know, maybe not to PD or dispatch, but you make it a big deal for everybody, and that's important. That's very special. And then when Officer Goodwin shows up, he treats them the same way. Our whole police department. You know, it's your issue. You called in. You didn't ask him to come because you just wanted to hang out with our law enforcement. You had an issue. And our professionalism that we do now when we roll up, call for service, if I get the vernaculars right, it's improved 1,000%. And it's very refreshing to hear compliments when I'm having coffee at a local coffee shop about how great our police department is and how great you guys are doing out there as law enforcement. It's really important, and that's what our community wants, and that's what we've been asking for years. And, you know, adding you two to the force, it just made it even that much better. So I want to personally say thank you to each and every one of you. Dave, this is your award right here for his exemplary service to our community. Thank you. Marcelina, thank you very much for what you do, and I know that it's extremely stressful and difficult. And then also you had to go through all the, you guys haven't seen it, but the chief will give anybody here who wants to tour the police department. Our law enforcement renovated their own police department on their own hours with their own time. The city bought the paint stuff, but these guys built and remodeled the police department to where it feels very professional when you go in there. We still need a lot of equipment. We need a lot of things, but you had to endure all that construction and everything else. And when I walked through there a couple of times with the chief, and it was pretty chaotic, but you know, you guys held together really well. So I just want the rest of the council to say a word and show their appreciation towards you guys.
Look, Marcelina, thank you for everything that you do for our community. Every time it seems like I go in there into the police department, I'll look through the shaded windows and you're there. So you must be there all the time. So thank you for all that. And also, Goodwin, every time somebody is talking to me about something that happened and I ask them, how was the police? Your name always comes up as, he was so nice, he was so good to us. So thank you for all of that. I know you came back to the community of Atwater, and we all appreciate that gratefully that you came back. You've been a great asset to us. Thank you.
Councilman Ambrose?
Let me get off from behind you guys so you can see me. Thank you for your guys' commitment and your dedication to everything that you guys are doing, and thank you for going above and beyond.
Yeah, and you know, there's already been so much that's been said, and just, you know, thank you for being such a key part of the pride of Atwater and making our town the way it is today, and people that feel safe and welcome and want to stay here for a long time, and you guys are a big part of that.
I just want to thank you guys for all you do. It's not an easy job. You get the call for the gunfire. You run to the gunfire. So thank you.
Okay, so we're gonna take a little 10-minute recess. Oh, what? Oh, Mike's.
I got bling.
Okay, we got another half hour, you guys. Can we stay? Okay. No, I'm kidding. No, I was just messing with you.
We have, well, I've got the hardware. Yeah, let's get Marcelina's, both of them. Okay, we have some hardware for our recipients. The first one in the black, the circular one, is for Marcelina, and the other one is for Marcelina. The black one is from our association. The association president, Robert Vargas, is here. That is a plaque recognizing Marcelina as being Dispatcher of the Year. The second one is from the department. Kind of changed it up. I used to give certificates like this, and I thought this was much nicer, especially post-COVID. So with the amount of work these people have done, we went ahead and sprung a little bit more, and we have a crystalline award for Marcelina. Dispatcher of the Year, Atwater Police Department recognizes Marcelina Zimmerman, Dispatcher of the Year 2021, presented this date, May 23rd, 2022. Robert, you want to talk about yours?
Sure, absolutely. Hello, good evening. Robert Vargas, Atwater Police Officers Association, current president. I would like to take this opportunity and thank not just Marcelina, but Officer Goodwin as well, for their dedication and years of service, obviously, to our organization. They are a huge asset to our organization, and I have worked on with Marcy for the last 4 years, and she has been a tremendous help to me. I can remember several calls in which I have needed backup or needed assistance from other officers, and she quickly understood that I needed that assistance, despite the fact of being a little tongue-tied or twisted, as it be. When you're out on a call and dealing with a very serious situation, you need that help sometimes, and your dispatcher's that only line of assistance, and we really appreciate that. So Marcelina, from our Atwater Police Officers Association, I would like to present you with this crystalline plaque for your years of service and for Dispatcher of the Year.
There you go.
And then, like I said, our second one is very, very similar. It's for Officer Dave Goodwin. This one reads, Atwater Police Department congratulates Officer David Goodwin, Officer Year 2021, presented this date, May 23rd, 2022. And Robert's got one also for the Police Officers Association. You might need the boss. You might need the boss.
Okay, so you can see how well loved our police department is here. We're not done yet with the ceremonies, but for these two, we're going to ask you guys to take a second. We want to honor one more of your brothers here, and then we're going to have a 10-minute recess, and everybody can come up and take pictures. So Officer Novetsky, you mind coming up here, Lieutenant Novetsky? And then we will, you want to set those down, or? They weigh about 10 pounds each. So stay up here, Officer Novetsky, right here. Lieutenant Novetsky. Chief, you want to say a few words real quick, and then the council will say a few words.
We're also honoring my second in command, Lieutenant Bill Novetsky. When he was promoted as part of my career professional development program that I'm trying to establish here at Atwater PD, there's a list of schools that each rank has to attend to ensure that they are properly trained and qualified to do the jobs that I'm going to ask them to do. And Bill just finished one a couple of weeks ago. I am sending our leadership team, the ones that want to promote further up the chain, to a 3-week over 3-month course at the Los Angeles Police Department. It is their premier leadership course. It's, if any of you were in the Army, it is based on a second lieutenant's third year at West Point. I'm an instructor in this course. I teach one of the blocks. It is a course I went through about 6 years ago when I became a chief. You'll find no finer leadership course on the West Coast or in the country than this one. Bill's our first graduate out of that program. So we're here to congratulate him. Sergeant Todd Snyder is now a first weeker in this program. He's also just got back from LA for his first week. And I hope to move all of us, or all of our supervisory crew through this program eventually. It's one of the hallmarks of our career professional development program, and I'm very proud of Bill. He'll tell you he really loved it, loved the program. So I'll give this back to Tyler.
Yeah, we're just really, happy to award this. There's a real reputation here in Atwater, and Bill's he's just taking on that leadership role, and we appreciate that. And we're awarding this to in recognition of that.
So, Lieutenant Nowitzki, you're not getting off that easy. I wanted Councilman Button to present that to you so that we continue the relationship. Each council member here wants to tell you thank you. It's not easy. We do need a second in command. Everybody needs a second in command. Every organization, it's important so things run seamlessly when somebody's in town or out of town. This is just another stopgap measure for the community to know that you can get answers. Then our organization runs seamlessly while one of the administrators are in or out of town or in a meeting or whatever else. But it's important. We worked on the front line, the ground force, the troops, to get everybody in place, give them the tools, and then we promoted up sergeants. We now have, how many sergeants do we have?
5.
We have 5 sergeants to cover all the shifts, lieutenant and police chief. So we're getting back. We fell, because we ran out of money and did things like that. But the great thing is that we're rebuilding. We're not 100% yet, but this is a start and a trend to get the police department back where the community wants it. We've got a long way to go. You've got to do a lot of things as a lieutenant. You're not just an administrator. You're a patrolman. You're working. You do dispatch, right, Chief? Yes. So they all wear all the hats. We're not a giant organization. We're a small community. We can barely afford what we got to do, but we do it, and we do it, and we focus on PD. And it's important that you guys have the tools and resources you need. And I just want to say thank you as a mayor, and then I want the other council members to say thank you.
Well, we can't call you Bill anymore. No, Vinsky anymore. How's LT sound to you? Sounds good to me. I think that's what we'll call you. Thank you. Appreciate you doing this, going to this school, even if the chief was teaching. Did you fall asleep during that part? I would have. Just saying. But congratulations and thank you for everything that you guys do.
Again, just congratulations and thank you.
I'm still going to call you Bill. I was there when you got sworn in as reserve, and it's been neat to watch you climb through the ranks, man. I'm proud of you. Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. I want you to say a few words. Introduce yourself as the graduate of LAPD. Tell us about the class real quick. It's important that we know what you did.
Hello to the community. Well, one of the things with the LAPD is that they're about tradition, and that's one thing I want to see get infused here. We've always had a great tradition in Atwater. I've been here a long time, and I like to see folks here that are able to see kind of the tradition being brought back to what we had here. It's been here all along, but we're really making a stride of bringing the community engagement back in the sense of just, post-COVID and everything else. The leadership program focuses on how to deal with people. That is really the mainstay of it, and the theories and kind of understanding the why of what we do. the biggest thing, and I will echo this in my own work, is it's taking care of your people. And I want to say that our police department is by far one of the best police departments ever with its people. They come here every day and do the job, and I'm proud to serve with them and lead them. It's about the people and the community. And that's what's important. It's not about me. And I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I thank my teams every day because they're the ones that are most important here of what they're doing for our community. So.
Bill's just the beginning. It's been my goal since I've been your chief for the last 3.5 years. Time flies when you're having fun. To set the wheels in motion that will sustain the police department for the next 25 years. If I'm able to get that done, then I will consider my time here in Atwater a great success. Every single person that is in this room is a representation of what I'm trying to do here as your chief. So I want to congratulate Bill. I want to congratulate Marcelina. I want to congratulate Dave. These are all events that are well done. These people are some of the best people I've ever worked with, period, in the store. And with that, 10-minute recess. Let's get some pictures. Grab your bling. Where's the boss?
order at 6:30. That was a wonderful ceremony. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Atwater Police Department. Strong sense of community and family here in Atwater, and it's our job to reinforce that and foster that. So awesome job.
Mayor, may I make a comment before we start back on the next presentation?
Absolutely. City Manager Waterman, go ahead.
Thank you. So I just wanted to make a brief comment right now while we're recognizing our Atwater PD as well as our new lieutenant's achievements. I wanted to take this opportunity to as you've seen, we do support our police department and we invest in our police and public safety. I've been meeting with some of our community citizens who also care deeply about the city's public safety, and who some of them are here tonight and will probably be speaking. I have asked my team, after speaking with this group, I've asked my team and the city's consultant to accelerate a follow-up survey needed to gauge the community's support and interest in financial sustainability options so that this council and the community can make wise plans for the city's public safety needs. And this accelerated timeline will ensure, once any decision is made, that everyone in the community will have ample opportunity to help in the forwarding of that. So thank you for this opportunity to speak.
Thank you. Monthly report, Merced County Supervisor Darren McDaniel. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. I do bring to you Patriot Rail did open up May 1st. I don't think anybody's been exposed to any more traffic out there because their hours of operation is only from 1 a.m. till about 4 a.m. till 5 a.m. And they're working out there 5 days a week. Also, something that'll concern this council is some of the counties, we've gone over our road priorities at the county, and some that will affect you guys are Commerce and Giannini. So those are slated to be fixed this weekend, not re-engineered, but repaved. And then I'd like to thank Mr. Kale and Ms. Waterman on our DC trip. It went very well. Most of our meetings in DC were the first face-to-face meetings that they had with folks since COVID. And to let you know what we have resonated, I think you might have been on an email train, but my colleagues Espinoza and Pedrozo were in Anchorage, Alaska for WIR, which is a NACO, National Association of Counties, where some of the people that we met with in DC were there, and they used our examples of what happened. And understanding that that was the problems that we were having here in rural California, and they were using them there to part of their narrative. And so we did leave a lasting impression on them. I would like to say that we are back into our budget negotiations at Merced County. We were at $844 million last year for a budget. I thought that'd be the highest budgets we ever had from all the federal and state monies that were infused into it. But now we are approaching just under $1 billion this year. And so those are ongoing discussions now. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
All right, let me off easy. Thank you. And Chief, congratulations on your police department.
Consent calendar.
Background information has been provided on all matters listed under the consent calendar, and these items are considered to be routine. All items under the consent calendar are normally approved by one motion. If discussion is requested on any item, that item will be removed from the consent calendar for separate action.
Are there any items on the consent calendar the City Council would like to remove for separate discussion or possible action?
Item 6.
6. Button. Are there any members of the public who'd like to speak regarding any item remaining on the consent calendar? So please come to the podium and state your name for the record, please. Do we have any emails or correspondence?
No, Mayor, there is not.
Any members of the public like to come forward on any of the remaining items, please come to the podium. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and looking for direction on the remainder of the consent agenda.
I move to approve as amended.
Second.
Motion by Kale, second by Raymond.
Kale?
Yes.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item 6, agreements. Authorizing and approving cooperative purchase agreement with the Swartz Industries, Inc. for purchase of 2022 Sports Model A7 Tornado Sweeper. Community Development Director Thompson. This is Councilman Button's item he pulled.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council, and thank you for your consideration of this item this evening. Before you, and as many of you are probably aware, the city has been in a rental mode of a street sweeping unit that's being used in exchange or instead of the 2 normal sweepers that we have that are active in the city right now. The city's sweeping units, in addition to maintaining the aesthetics of the city, they're also a critical part of your storm drainage compliance with the city with our MS4 permit, in that it removes debris and contaminants from the collection system before it was to be introduced into the drain. Is there any specific question you had, Councilman Bennett, about that particular unit, other than it does have a pretty awesome name in that it is a tornado unit?
Yeah, I have to agree. The name is pretty awesome. No, I just, what's, I guess my question is, what's wrong with the one we're using? What's is it because we're out of the contract of the rental agreement, or?
No, we're not out of the city owns and operates 2 sweeping units currently, and they have reached the end of their useful life. With any piece of equipment, whether it's maintained as a lease option or anything else, all equipment, especially equipment that we have for those types of road and enduring ongoing maintenance, they reach the end of their useful life. I think it is anticipated that this cycle or this meeting, we would ask for the purchase of 1, and then it would be considered in the following budget year. Again, that does not discontinue the fact that we are seeking 2 operational units.
So I think to go back to Councilman Button, this was going to be put into next year's budget. However, we had a catastrophe with one of the units, so this is something that they will be replacing on a use of life.
It's a periodic replacement and a service life of a piece of equipment. That is correct.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that's why it's been moved forward for this cycle, is that we don't have currently anything we're renting one.
Okay.
So, and it takes a lead time to get a $500,000, whatever it cost. What was it?
300, a little north of 300,000.
Yeah.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor.
So they're not sitting on the parking lot.
Yeah, and we can't get, there's no used ones, and
There are, but they're usually wore out also.
yeah? Oh, okay.
That is an unfortunate fact of life.
So maybe,
Okay.
maybe also, I don't know, that what helped me was going out to Public Works and looking at those units, because I asked the same thing. I went out there and took a look at it. It's amazing how the sandy grit soil just turns that half-inch plate into paper thin metal. So it'd be something good to look at.
Yeah. No, I trust that it's, has to do with the life of the machine that we're using, and but I just thought I'd get a little bit of clarification.
Absolutely, more than welcome to ask. And again, just so for clarity, the street sweeping equipment fulfills 2 very necessary functions, not just one within the city. Part of that is collection of debris and aesthetics, but a big component of it is compliance with your stormwater.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Council? Ambrose?
So just for clarification, this one purchase is just going to replace the 2002 unit or both units?
This is only the 1 unit.
Okay. With the unit that it's replacing, what are our plans for that particular unit? Are we able to sell it and get some type of profit, or are we just going to junk it, leave it out in the yard? What's our plan?
I would believe that a piece of equipment such as this could be declared surplus, but before the city would do that, my recommendation to the council is we get an assessment from the company that is performing the work on it right now to see what value it may have in that capacity. It may be too far gone.
Thank you.
And if it is surplus, the chief's got, so we're building equipment again for another surplus sale, whether it's this summer or next summer. I don't know what staff's going to do.
It could
with
be
that,
contributed to that.
Yeah, so there is revenue we can capture from that.
Thank you.
Any other council members have a question? Seeing none, direction?
Motion to approve consent calendar as amended? Or yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, item 6.
Second.
Motion by Button, second by Raymond.
Ambrose?
Yes.
Button?
Yes.
Kale?
Yes.
Raymond?
Yes.
Creighton?
Yes.
Motion passes.
City manager reports and updates. City manager Waterman.
Thank you, Mayor. I just have a couple announcements that I want to make sure that we talk about tonight. Currently, we noticed on our Facebook page that our splash park is decommissioned for a little bit, and we've had some unforeseen circumstances. So it won't be up. I mean, I know this is going to be a hot week, so as soon as we can get that back up and running, we'll do so. Wanted to announce, as we've been talking, and we'll have more conversations about the city's 100-year celebration and the things and events that we have, because we want the public to be out there. We are announcing that we are bringing back the Miss Atwater pageant, and it's going to be held on Saturday, August 13th at our community center. We want
Ages.
the ages are not, I'll let Janelle speak to that. I think they're our high school students. Anybody that's qualified would be any of our Atwater residents.
8th grade through senior?
No, high school students.
High school students entering high school and exiting. Yes.
So to clarify that, that'd be entering high school or a high school
Or
student.
graduating.
Yes.
Graduate.
Up to graduate. And the registration is going to open May 23rd, and it'll close June 20th. So we do encourage our young students to apply for that, and we look forward to bringing that back to Atwater. We're also calling on our local vintage cars and craft food vendors. Atwater is going to host a vendor craft fair, and again, a celebration of our 100-year event on Saturday, August 20th, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in downtown Atwater. We're going to have craft vendors, food trucks, vintage cars, other booths to showcase what you might have to offer to the community. And again, for all of these events, contact Corey or our events department at 357-6320. We know we have a lot going on. We have a great community, and we want to showcase that. So we look forward to having everybody out there.
Wonderful. Okay, comments from the public?
At this time, any person may comment on any item which is not on the agenda. You may state your name and address for the record, however, it is not required. Action will not be taken on an item that is not on the agenda. If it requires action, it will be referred to staff and or placed on a future agenda. Please limit comments to a maximum of 3 minutes.
Do any members of the public like to come forward at this time? Please state your name. Welcome.
Hi, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members, community members, and guests. My name is Gabe Santos. I reside at 3391 Shoreline Drive. I'm here today to speak on the behalf of our Measure H tax, and ironically, I found a penny on the way in to my
That's a start.
in the parking lot, so that's my good luck penny. I'll leave it right there for now. I think I want to start off with, I think it's great that we're honoring our officers today, both Dispatcher Marcelina, Officer Goodwin, and Lieutenant Noveski. I think the best way we can truly honor them is by continuing a public safety tax. With that, just like to remind a couple of items. Last week, we had 2 shootings in the city of Atwater, 1 day apart. We have less law enforcement staffing today than we did 10 years ago. Monday of last week, we had both city fire engines committed to a vehicle collision on Highway 99 for over 2 hours. So the city of Atwater was without their 2 city engines, was covered by the county eventually, which just puts the county down 1 fire station. A year ago, we had a house fire on Mermaid Drive where 2 homes were burned down. We had both city engines, or 1 city engine, 1 ladder truck from the city, and we had 4 county fire engines there. Today, almost a year later, both of those homes are still inhabitable. With that being said, most personal one for me is last year in August, we had our smoke detectors go off. I was out of state, or out in Baltimore, and my wife picked up the phone and called, and Winton Fire Department showed up to my house. I live in the city of Atwater. So I'm a little concerned if we don't continue with this Measure H, which is set to expire next year in 2023. So with that, I'm here today to recommend the continuation of a public safety tax, also known as Measure H. As you know, the current Measure H is a half-cent sales tax, or half-cent public safety tax that can only be utilized for public safety, police department, and fire department. It has an oversight committee that ensures that the public safety tax is only utilized for items that have been approved by the citizen voters of Atwater with that measure. The current measure is set to expire in 2023, and over the past 9 years, provided over $2 million a year for public safety funds on purchases, maintenance, various police department, fire department items that otherwise would have been pulled from the general fund. I had a handout, Janelle, I'm not sure if you passed it down, but when you look at page 10, it's just all things that you've seen before. It is our city budget. When you look at currently, 48% is for public safety of that. Currently, Measure H in the last 9 years has provided approximately $2 million a year. So that $2 million is not getting pulled out of that general fund to serve our public safety. So currently, 35% of that goes to law enforcement and 13% goes to fire.
10 seconds.
If we lose public safety tax, we'll lose all of that. So most citizens in Atwater didn't even realize that we're still paying that half-cent tax. So what I'm asking here today is just an additional half-cent tax for a total of 1.
Thank you for
So
coming.
thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other members of the public come forward at this time? Please come to the podium, state your name. And we have speaker cards.
Yes,
Who do
Mayor.
we have?
Mayor, City Council, my name is Sharon Wilkerson. I am at Castlewood Senior Community. We are dedicating an American flag, and we'd like to invite the City Council to be a part of that day. It's in regards to Castle Air Force Base, the family, and the fallen men and women. We'd like for you guys to be there with us to honor them. It's going to be on Flag Day, which is June the 14th at 10 a.m. We're at Castlewood on 2601 Buhack, Atwater, California. Like I said, we're honoring the Castle families that live there. We live there now, but we didn't realize that we didn't have a flag, and so we have a flag now. And we'd like for you guys to be there to help honor those people. So hopefully you can attend. Please let us know. We're going to have a potluck that day. Hopefully Chief will be there to help celebrate that day with us. So thank
Wonderful.
you guys.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other speaker cards, you know?
Yes, Mayor, we have Linda Dash.
Welcome.
Good evening, Linda Dash, Atwater, California. I also am privileged to sit on our city manager's roundtable. And I've done a little homework, and I found out that actually prior to Measure H passing in 2013, in the year 2005, when we only had a population of about 25,000, we had a task force, 2 street crime units, drug task force, gang task force, a motorcycle police officer, 4 detectives, a population of 25,000. Now we have a population of 31,970. I think we have about 24 sworn officers, and it's really a shame. You talk about defunding police. I hope Atwater doesn't get that name. I know all you folks sitting there are very pro law enforcement and fire, public safety. And I'm asking you to consider setting a special meeting to do nothing but discuss Measure H, getting it on the ballot so we can vote on it this November. Very important for all of our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other speaker cards?
Yes, Mayor, next we have Robert Vargas.
Welcome.
Good evening, council members. My name is Robert Vargas. I am the current Atwater Police Officers Association president. I am here today to discuss the ending of Measure H and what it is intended to do to our police department and our city. I currently also sit on the city manager's roundtable with regards to this matter. Some of the concerns that I have is I started back in 2000 as a volunteer with this organization. I was sworn in as a reserve police officer in 2003, and then I also was sworn in full-time in 2006, and I have been here obviously since then. In that time frame, when I started, there were almost 35 officers here. Since starting in that amount of time, we have reduced the numbers to at least 25, give or take, for what's in the process of being hired and everything else. It's a major concern, obviously, with current law enforcement standings within our society and our current community, and with the level of violence that continues to increase. I see that it is nothing more than causing a potential for injury at some point for our officers, and not only just for us, but also for CAL FIRE individuals. You know, when you only have 2 individuals that run both trucks, when they get tied up out on the highway for a crash, again, doing an extrication for almost 4 hours, that really puts our citizens in jeopardy. I think that's a huge concern. Obviously, I've not come before you before, obviously because of the fact that I've respected your decisions. I believe you guys have done a tremendous job in being able to bring us forward and out of our budget crunch. I really respect the fact that the difficult decisions you guys have made that have gotten us to this point, but I urge you, okay? I don't know if any of you have ever had an opportunity to attend a police funeral. If you haven't, I suggest you do. Because if we do not continue this Measure H and even possibly increase it from a 0.5-cent sales tax to an additional 1-cent sales tax, at some point, God forbid, we could end up having one of those here. You know, and I'll tell you something, there's nothing worse than having to go tell somebody's family that their loved one is no longer available because we didn't have the manpower, or their life was at stake because we had 2 other priority calls that were going at the same time. You know, that's the worst thing to ever have to hear. You know, so I urge you, from my members of my association, and I guarantee you from the members of our community, every one of them will probably stand with us on that. You need to put this measure on the ballot and give it an opportunity to make a difference. You know, I'm not saying that you're raising taxes, but I am saying give the community a chance to decide what they want. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other speaker cards?
No, Mayor, we do not.
If any other members of the public would like to come forward this time, please state your name for the record.
Hi, my name's Tom Legg. About 2 years ago, I believe it was 2 years ago, I came to you and asked you about renaming one of the ball fields at Osborne Park to the Frank Raponte Memorial Field. Well, you gave me that permission, and I'm here to announce that it's finally done. Everything to include the scoreboard is up. I finally got it up. The only problem now is there's no power. So it's going to need power in order to be lit up and be displayed as a symbol of the ballpark. But that's all I got.
Thank you for your hard work, and we're glad that it's up. Any other members of the public like to come forward this time? Welcome. State your name for the record.
Hi, Rich Miller, 334 Silva Drive, also pastor Victory Baptist Church here in Atwater. I apologize I didn't get my speaker card in time. We were honored to honor 3 officers yesterday, one from the Atwater Police Department, one from the Merced County Sheriff's Department, one from the Highway Patrol at our church, and we do support our police officers, our deputies at the Sheriff's Department, and our Highway Patrolmen, as well as our firefighters at Victory Baptist. And I will be the first to tell you, I hate taxes. I hate them. The only thing I hate more than taxes probably is wasting people's money. And so I want to reiterate what some of my colleagues said tonight, that we are at a situation, we're at a crossroads, and we need to make a decision. Our city needs to make a decision. And so I'd like to encourage you also to call for a special meeting. I'd like to encourage you to ask the consultants who the city is consulting with to get a updated poll from our residents and to make a decision on what we're going to do as a city. I like what was already said. I think you all have done a phenomenal job. And you know that. I pray for you guys. I love you guys. You know that. We need to have something done here. And right now, I would support a renewal of the Measure H with an added 0.5 cent if that's what we needed to do. We've talked about it. We don't all agree 100%, but we all agree that something needs to be done for public safety. I actually would hate to have to come back in 10 years, but I also believe that it may be necessary to put a 10-year sunset, because I know that my kids don't spend the way that I do. And I don't know who's going to be the next mayor. I don't know who's going to be the next city manager, who's going to be the next chief of police or the chief of the fire department. And I believe that as a pastor, when I look at my church and the budget I have based off of donations, I have to live within my budget. If I want an assistant pastor, then what that means is I need to go get more parishioners who are going to give to the church. And I think our city needs to increase its revenue over the next 10 years so we can absorb the costs of our public safety. And that's why I'd encourage that we do actually have a sunset of 10 years so we can come back and hopefully our city will have grown and could have absorbed the cost that's needed to sustain public safety to the limits or to the extent that our chiefs want to take it to. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any other speaker cards?
No, Mayor, we do not.
Members of the public like to come forward at this time, please come to the podium. Seeing none, we'll, wait a minute, I'm gonna close public comment, your staff, then I'll let you go. We'll close public comment. Bobby, you're welcome to come to the podium as a chief in uniform. So watch it.
Yep. I'll watch it. No,
Welcome.
City manager's looking there worried. Good evening, Mayor, Council. Bobby Ayuso, your Atwater City Fire Battalion Chief. I just wanted to bring something up. This coming Saturday, the 28th of May, we're back on our annual Fill the Boot Foundation program. I just wanted to make it known, this is not a donation to the fire department. However, we will have both fire engines as well as Merced County Fire Department out there supporting the program, and it's for the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We'll be out there from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. So the boots, once again, are not to fill for station funds by any means. That's to support the MDA, and we're proud.
How many
to
years
do
you been
that.
doing that, the fire department?
You know what, I don't have that answer, but I know
Over
just these
55
past
years,
couple
right?
years, we missed it due to COVID, so we're happy that it's back and we're able to help support it. We'll be at 5 Corners, and you'll see it throughout the area. If you go outside, they do it in Santa Anela, throughout the whole unit here and the state, so.
And we're always pretty successful here in Atwater. They give a lot.
Yeah, we always do very well, so.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Okay, council comments. I want to start off real quick with, we had a lot of good discussion tonight on our public comment. Just to let the public know, because the tax measure that was talked about in detail tonight in public comment, it's you, the citizens, you, the residents, that steer what we do in this community, how we do it. We started over 7 months ago with a consultant, and we've been working nonstop still today. And I think, what's it, reachoutatwater.org? What is that called? Let's Talk Atwater. There's a forum there. You could talk to this council members, you talk to the city manager, you talk to the police, you could talk to fire. You could learn more about what we need in the community and how we get where we need to go. It takes the community support and what you guys want going forward, 5 years, 10 years, 100 years, forever, whatever. We could set all the special meetings and everything else, but you guys have got to get, the community's got to get engaged and activated with Let's Talk Atwater. Talk to your police and fire, figure out what you guys want to do, and our consultant, I'll let the city manager jump in real quick. Their role, they're doing polling and other things, so there's data being collected out there that will be used for the community's information on which direction you guys want to go and how you want to proceed and what's the likelihood of different scenarios. So please put your input in there, because your input directs the scenarios. So it's really important for you guys to get in, your friends, family, neighbors. Be involved. Don't sit on the sideline. This is really important for all of us. So I just wanted to share that. And we are working hard on that. I don't know when we'll set a special council meeting for that, but better than a special council meeting is the continued ongoing input you guys can shove into those surveys and the consultants and communicate. And you want to add anything to that? City Manager
Thank
Waterman?
you. That, just to our website, we're sending out postcards, Let's Talk Atwater, so we do want as much community involvement involved. But again, just to reiterate what I said earlier, is we are working with the consultant to expedite the data and the new poll so that we can get that data and we can move that process forward.
Right, and there is a time frame, and I don't know, you're gonna have to answer this. I feel the urgency that the community's asking to be put on the ballot. It's gonna get put on the ballot, so that's not gonna be missed. But we need more input. We need a lot more. Help us, help you. So when is that cutoff that it does get put on the agenda for our not the agenda, but it gets put on the ballot. What's the cutoff for
It's
that?
the end of July. We have to have it. So we're
we're gonna-
looking at bringing it to council, making their decision and putting it on at the latest, the first meeting in July.
So
that
you
we
guys
don't
have
miss that
roughly a
deadline.
month in the community to shove all your input and data, and we need to get that. If the citizens want a special meeting to talk about it, I'm not opposed to it. It's of the council's direction, what we want to do. So everything's on the table. We're here to help you guys. The questions tonight were, let's get a special meeting. So City Manager Water and maybe reach out to the rest of the council and see if we can put something together and we can discuss. We're not setting any policy at that special meeting if we do meet. We'll just maybe have a community meeting on Measure H would be more productive than agendized meeting. We can't do anything. So we'll have staff discuss that and find the best way to get your concerns addressed, and we stay forward with that. Councilman Button?
Yeah, I'll look forward to something like that. I would be open to something like that as well. The only thing I wanted to talk about was just the stretch of highway between Atwater and Merced. I don't know if you guys, Sunstar paper talked about how the CHP essentially urged Caltrans to change the construction on the highway between Atwater and Merced. I just want to express to the folks here in Atwater that I'd like to see us at least maybe draft a letter or something like that from city staff to Caltrans, and maybe specifically Skip Allen, who is our District 10 Caltrans representative, who I've tried to get a hold of several times. He has not reached back to me. So perhaps we need to send a letter to him expressing, I have a couple concerns and questions that we can put in that letter as well. And, I just think it's unacceptable how they handled they put two projects at the same time in that stretch of highway. And, in my opinion, I'm not a civil engineer, but you don't do two projects at the same time if you can't do one correctly or efficiently. So why they decided to do two at the same time and bottleneck, I was looking at the stats, accidents tripled the first month after they put all that construction into place. And then the month after that, the numbers were doubled. And then we don't have May's numbers yet. And then we just had a person pass away on the 17th of May. So if their plan, which if you look at their plan, it was to make the roads safer. That if you go to the website, the big part of why they made these changes was to make the roads safer. Well, you're tripling the accidents and every month, or doubling at least. And they're not expecting this to be done until August of 2023. So I have some serious questions as to why it took the CHP office contacting them and telling them that they need to make some changes in order to make some changes that apparently they could have made. So, this affects us. I don't know about anybody else here, but I drive to Merced pretty much every day. And I'm only 36, but I haven't seen a stretch of highway like that in my lifetime. The one article said that it takes, if they got to get a car out of there, it takes a tow truck driver to drive backwards 5 miles in order to get a vehicle out of there. That's unacceptable. Whoever designed that. So Skip Allen, if he'd like to reach out to me, I'm more than welcome to take a phone call. And I'd also like to see us maybe just send a letter just asking some questions about what can be done to further, because I don't think it's still safe enough to our standard, so I think they need to still make some other changes, and then also why wasn't it done sooner? And that's so sorry to have a kind of a negative Nancy.
That's very positive. I
But
think that you're pointing out a safety issue that needs to be addressed. And Merced Atwater area, for whatever reason, they chose to bottleneck it. It's scary as heck when you come from Merced. If you're in the inside lane towards the median, that is very terrifying. And sometimes they get big trucks in there, and there's nowhere to go. So that truck stops, and there's a truck behind you. like the ex-mayor in Livingston that got caught up here in Atwater that got smashed, so.
Yeah.
Caltrans needs to do a better job. They're supposed to protect us on the highways and they're not doing it, so.
Yeah.
Well,
So that's all I have, and I'll reach out to Lori and you know, and we can get something like that. Yeah. That's all I have, Mayor.
Councilman McHale?
Okay, so let me discuss what you said. Week before last, I sat for 3 days with the Area 10 director and told him how bad it was. And he said he understood. Yes, it needs to be handled or more approached by the police. But again, more importantly, it's our responsibility to drive safe. And you know what? Trust me, I see, like the mayor was saying, that fast lane coming from Merced is all there, and the trucks aren't supposed to be on it, and yet they are. And that's one of the things I was telling the area directors, get the CAC out there and write tickets, and you know what? CB radios will be going crazy. But stay in that right-hand lane. But you're right, it is tough, so I encourage the citizens of Merced and Atwater, go Santa Fe. Or just try to go I do a lot, unless I have to go the freeway. I'll take Santa Fe because I don't want to do that, especially at night. And I agree with you, but the discussion's been had with the Area 10 director, so I wanted to say that. Chief, congratulations to your department, to Officer Goodwin and Marcelina. It's awesome that we do that every year. And to the new LT, congratulations, LT. I'm glad to see you out there. I know he's already started. The other day I saw him, and he said, "What are you doing downtown?" I said, "What are you doing? Going to breakfast?" He said, "No, I'm stopping by all the business owners and saying hi." Nice, very nice,
Foot
LT.
patrol.
Yep, foot patrol. So congratulations to you guys. And the last thing, if you want somebody in the audience or in the community wants to know what I said, ask me. I'll tell you what I said. Somebody came to me and said, "I heard you were gonna do this." I said, "Who did you hear that from?" "I'm not gonna tell you who I heard it from." I said, "Well, ask me if I'm gonna do it. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do." I have zero problems with that. I communicate with people. At least I try to do my best. So ask me, I'll tell you. Don't listen to somebody else's interpretation of what I'm saying. Other than that, it's getting hot, getting time to turn on the air conditioner, so stay cool as much as you can and try to limit your watering of your lawns, please. My wife's still angry that 1 day a week is not good enough as far as she's concerned. Thanks.
Councilman Raymond?
I have nothing.
Councilman Ambrose?
Your guys' comments tonight was definitely heard. So I'm on board on having a special meeting to further discussions. Also, it's that time of year again to start congratulating all of our family members who are graduating from 8th grade, high school, from our local community college, and the UCs and the CSU. I personally have my daughter who is graduating 8th grade this year, so a big hats off to her, which definitely means that we're going to have a lot of families out and about, and not this week, I think it's next week.
Yep.
So definitely be courteous when you're on the roads. Try your best, not to disturb your neighbors when you guys are celebrating. Remember, you guys are here telling us that we want more, more officers and so forth, but they're already going to be spread thin starting next week, if not already. So again, if you have loved ones that are graduating, tell them I said congratulations, and you guys enjoy the moments.
Chief?
I want to wish all our graduates happy graduation. Please be safe out there. I do want to give kind of a SIG alert. Starting, I believe, tonight, they're moving the cave areas.
For those that don't know what a SIG alert is, what is
Well, it's traffic alert. I got a notification from Caltrans this morning that they are moving the K barriers out on the Freeway 99 tonight. So if you guys can stay away from that area. The exits coming into Atwater changed, I believe it's tonight, from the Atwater Boulevard exits that we are currently using to Applegate. So that's going to cause some major issues starting tonight, and it'll be that way for the next 6 weeks.
Okay, thank you. Also, just to adjourn the meeting in honor of our military, armed forces, this weekend coming up, thank a veteran, thank a service member, thank God you guys live in America and we're free. Meeting adjourned.